Meghan and Harry were kicked out of the party. They were kicked out. Why?
One evening, one dress, one color. And within hours, most of the photographs from that night vanished from the internet completely. No statement, no explanation. Just gone. What happened at a private dinner party in Montecito on April 10th? 2026 was not a wardrobe accident, it was not a coincidence, and those deleted photographs were not a technical error. What happened that night was the single most visible moment yet in a story that has been quietly building for 5 years. A story about a $100 million bet that failed. About a Hollywood dream that has been collapsing project by project, deal by deal, canceled show by canceled show. And about a woman who walked into a room that belonged entirely to someone else, wore that someone else's signature color, and then had to be asked to leave before the guest of honor even arrived. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what happened, why it happened, what the deleted photographs actually tell us, and what all of it means for where Harry and Meghan truly stand right now. Because the full picture is significantly worse than most coverage is currently willing to say out loud. To understand why that party mattered so much, you have to go back to 2020. Harry and Meghan had just stepped back from royal duties. They had moved to California, and the news was extraordinary. The couple had signed a reported $100 million deal with a major streaming platform. That was not a modest content arrangement. That was not a company making a cautious investment. That was a statement of belief. A public declaration that these two people could build something. That their names, their story, and their platform were worth $100 million. And Harry and Meghan needed to believe it too. Because the entire logic of their departure rested on one assumption. That they could actually build something in Hollywood. That the independence they had chosen, the relationships they had strained, the institution they had publicly criticized, all of it was worth it because something real and lasting was waiting on the other side. So what actually happened over the following 5 years? Their documentary generated enormous headlines, but almost entirely because of accusations against the royal family rather than anything to do with storytelling craft. A polo documentary barely made a ripple. A lifestyle show debuted to reviews, so universally disappointing that it was canceled almost immediately. No renewal, no second season. Gone. And then, the streaming platform quietly withdrew its investment from Meghan's lifestyle brand entirely. The company that had funded her, food and lifestyle products, walked away without fanfare. Meghan's response to that? She showed up at the CEO's home and made sure cameras caught her looking warm and close with his wife. That is not the behavior of someone who is unaffected. That is the behavior of someone working very hard to manage a narrative already moving in a direction she cannot control. In March of this year, the entertainment industry's most respected trade publication ran a story reporting deep tension between Harry and Meghan and the streaming company's leadership. This was not a gossip blog. This was the publication that every executive, every agent, every serious Hollywood player reads without exception, and every single one of them read this story. It reported that multiple insiders within the company had independently told the same reporter the same thing, that the relationship was finished. Not under review, finished. Harry and Meghan denied it. The company issued careful statements. But in Hollywood, a denial after a story like that changes nothing. The story existed. The sources had spoken. Every relevant person had already read every word, and there is one more detail that matters. The deal had already been quietly restructured the previous year from a full investment partnership into what the industry calls a first look arrangement. In genuine Hollywood language, that means the company is no longer actively investing in you. A small door has been left open just in case. It is the industry's polite way of stepping back while maintaining just enough connection to be useful if circumstances change. That is where Harry and Meghan were standing when they walked into that Montecito dinner. Not as creative partners with platform and credibility, as people who desperately needed a room full of industry professionals to believe they still belonged in it. The evening of April 10th was an intimate private dinner at a major entertainment executive's home in Montecito. It was organized to celebrate a significant new television project. The guest list included genuinely prominent figures, established names whose attendance signals something about an occasion's importance. But the woman the entire evening was built around was a British actress with one of the most genuinely respected careers in her industry. Not famous for her personal life or her association with institutions, famous because she is extraordinarily talented. An actress who has earned major awards across decades of work, built entirely on craft and consistency. And just 10 days before this party, the King of England had personally presented her with one of the most prestigious honors available to a British artist at Windsor Castle, in recognition of her extraordinary contribution to drama. This was her moment, her room, her celebration. The guests had been asked to wear black and white, so that when the honored guest arrived in her signature color, a vivid yellow-green shade she had worn consistently throughout her entire promotional period for this project, she would be the only color in the room, visible, celebrated, every camera and every eye telling the same story. This is her night. Every guest understood that. Every guest honored it, except one. Meghan arrived wearing the exact same signature color as the woman being celebrated. This is not a neutral shade. This is not something you accidentally pull from a wardrobe. This is a vivid statement-making color that announces itself the moment you enter a room. And this particular actress had been wearing it throughout her entire press campaign. Every stylist, every photographer, every fashion editor covering this project knew it. Anyone even loosely connected to this industry knew it. The question is not whether Meghan knew. The question is why she did it anyway. And when you look at the pattern across the years, other occasions where Meghan was the only person in a formal lineup wearing a contrasting color while everyone else wore coordinated neutrals, the answer that presents itself is not comfortable. What happened next has been described by multiple sources. Harry and Meghan did not stay for the full evening. They were asked to leave before the guest of honor had even arrived. The reason was simple. The color clash had created exactly the distraction the hosts had worked carefully to prevent. Allowing Meghan to remain when the honored guest walked in would have transformed a celebration of one woman's genuine achievement into an unavoidable comparison. Nobody wanted that. Nobody had agreed to it. Meghan reportedly pushed back. She wanted to stay. She wanted specifically to get a photograph with the actress being celebrated. A photograph that would then circulate, suggesting warmth and connection, and relevance to an evening she had not been invited to be relevant to. A way of positioning herself next to genuine earned prestige so that some of it might transfer by association. That photograph never happened. Harry and Meghan were gone before the guest of honor arrived, and by multiple accounts, Harry spent part of that evening apologizing to the host for the situation. A man who was once among the most prominent members of one of the oldest royal families in the world, standing in a California living room, apologizing to a Hollywood executive because of a dress. Now, the photographs. A major photo agency had multiple images from that evening, candid shots, group images, photographs that showed what the night actually looked like. Within hours of publication, most of them were gone, pulled from the archive with no explanation, attached. What remained were a small number of carefully composed images. Harry and Meghan alongside the host and his wife, looking warm and relaxed. Photographs telling a very specific story, that the evening went well, the relationships were solid, everything was fine. Here's the question that matters. If the evening genuinely went well, if the photographs showed something Meghan was comfortable with, why did they need to disappear? Confident people do not scrub their own photographic record. People who remove images from major archives are people who cannot afford for the world to see what was actually captured. The photographs that survived told the story Meghan needed the world to believe. The photographs that were deleted told the story she could not allow anyone to see. While all of this was unfolding in California, Australia was waiting. The contrast between this visit and their 2018 tour could not be more stark. When they came the first time, they were newly married. Crowds lined streets for miles. The reception was genuinely warm and celebratory. Australia loved them. This time, tens of thousands of Australians signed a petition before they even landed, demanding no public money be spent on their visit. A sitting member of parliament publicly demanded they personally cover all security costs and a mental health event. Harry was headlining in Melbourne, originally selling tickets at nearly 2,000 Australian dollars, had those prices cut to half to fill the venue, half price. When your platform is genuinely worth what you have been claiming, you do not cut your ticket prices in half to get people through the door. Meghan's own Sydney event was charging up to 3,000 Australian dollars per ticket and was still not sold out as of this filming. For comparison, when a prominent wellness entrepreneur held a similar event in Sydney a few years earlier, it sold out completely. Because she had built a real brand through real work and real engagement with an audience that had genuinely chosen to follow her. The market speaks plainly when you are willing to hear what it is saying. And one more detail. A woman who purchased a ticket to Meghan's Sydney event later disclosed she worked in media. When she made a routine request for a tax invoice, a completely standard business transaction, she received a phone call informing her that media professionals were not eligible to attend and her ticket was being revoked. No prior disclosure of this condition anywhere in the booking process. Why would you ban journalists from an event you are proud of? Why would you make it structurally impossible for the experience to be reported on honestly? That is not the behavior of a brand confident in what it is delivering. That is the behavior of a brand that knows honest scrutiny would not serve it. Step back from the individual incidents and look at the full picture. When Harry and Meghan left the royal family, the stated argument was that they needed freedom, independence, the ability to build something real on their own terms, and the world gave them a genuine chance. A streaming company gave them $100 million, publishers gave them book deals, an audio platform gave them a podcast, Hollywood gave them access, audiences gave them attention. And what happened? Canceled projects, withdrawn partnerships, discounted tickets, deleted photographs, a prince apologizing to an executive in a California living room, and an exit from a party before the guest of honor walked through the door. The image says, powerful couple, global brand, untouchable platform. The reality says something entirely different. The actress honored at that Montecito dinner earned everything in that room. She earned her royal honor. She earned her celebration. She earned the respect of every person who showed up in black and white to honor a moment that belonged entirely to her. And the most visible thing Meghan Markle did that evening was arrive in the wrong color, get asked to leave, push back, fail to get the photograph she wanted, and then watch most of the evidence quietly disappear from the internet. That gap between what has been earned and what is being performed is the defining story of this entire chapter. And the camera in Montecito caught it more clearly than it has ever been caught before. Subscribe if you are not already. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the pattern here is what it appears to be? And do you think there is a version of this story that ends differently than it currently looks? I will see you in the next one.